Thank you. Hope you can see and hear me well, and I welcome and good afternoon, everyone. And it's a great pleasure to be here. And I want to thank every one of you for joining and choosing this session today. So I'm sure we will have an interesting session upcoming today. And in fact, all the presenters, we are all from Finland, so you will get this Finnish point of view to this counseling and guidance topics. So Vesa and Jaana, could I just start my presentation right away, or what do you think? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will share my slides. Okay. So let's go. So before introducing myself, I would like to introduce this topic, and you can see it right here. And it says, what kind of intellectual capital transdisciplinary career guidance organizations have at their disposal? So in this presentation, we will focus at the transdisciplinary guidance and the guidance organizations, or in other words, guidance services, and look at that in intellectual capital way. So let me introduce the writers behind this paper and presentation. My name is Päivi Pukkila, and the co-writers with me were Ms. Taru Lilja and Mr. Jaakko Helander, and now I am presenting this on behalf of us all. We all come from Finland, and we represent the HAMK University of Applied Sciences. And this paper is based on a work at the project called Together for Guidance and Counseling. So first, let's take an overview of this presentation. First, let's focus to the context of the research. I will tell you a little bit about these transdisciplinary career guidance organizations in Finland. I will tell you what they are and how they function. And then let's take a look to the theoretical basis and some key concepts in this research. Then a few words about research question, data and methods. And finally, of course, the results and conclusions. So transdisciplinary career guidance organizations in Finland mean a network of one-stop guidance centers, as they are called in English. In Finnish, we call them ohjaamo, if you see that word somewhere. So we have these kind of one-stop guidance centers all over Finland. There are now about 70 of those, and they are low threshold centers for people under 30-year-old. First center started at the beginning of 2015, and now, as I said, there are about 70 of those nowadays. They are all free of charge, and they give guidance and support in a training, education, employment, and in any kind of life management skills the people need. The experts, or the people who are working at these centers, they represent different fields. For example, there are personnel from employment offices, social workers, public health nurses, guidance counselors, of course, or youth workers, or even many more, or maybe some less. But anyway, the idea is that these workers and experts represent different fields in order to work transdisciplinary collaboration. The guidance centers are operating in Finland under 3 different ministries, and the funding comes nowadays mainly from the government and also partly by projects. So as you can see, the slogan there, it says, if you don't know where to start at Ohjaamo. I guess that will give you some hint about that, how they function. So this kind of network of transdisciplinary guidance centers has formed a new kind of transdisciplinary guidance service for young people in Finland. And I think it plays an important role in the field of guidance at this point. So now we are going to the theoretical basis and concepts. The transdisciplinary collaboration is something, as we understand, that brings some activity that brings together and spans the borders between different fields of organization, administration, and science. And the previous research has indicated some factors which promote this transdisciplinary collaboration. And there are many of those. And here you can see maybe the most significant factors which promote this kind of transdisciplinary collaboration. And there are, for example, time for shared discussion and reflection together with the experts, and recognition of the limits of one's expertise and willingness to move beyond these limits in the guidance. Also, it's important to have a confidential and respectful environment and a good collaboration and communication skills. You also need successful coordination in these collaboration activities and a shared goal formation and terminology. And also continual assessment of those goals. And at the level of individual employee, it might also need a shift in an attitude. So these are just few of those, and maybe the most significant ones. And these promotive factors, in fact, are close to the concept of intellectual capital. And that refers to non-material resources that can be measured and developed. And one way to divide this intellectual capital is to see those in 4 different types of intellectual capital. Human capital means individual knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Social capital refers to shared values, trust, information sharing, and relationships. Structural capital means, for example, operational processes, management, and tools. And psychological capital could include attitude, hope, optimism, persistence, and self-confidence. So we found out that these theoretical views are actually close to each other, and this is what we were interested in. So we think that this kind of transdisciplinary collaboration in these one-stop guidance centers is creating some way new kind of intellectual capital. So we wanted to look how these are connected to each other. And our research data based on coaching processes during this project I told you about. So in the project, the goal was to develop these transdisciplinary collaboration in one-stop guidance centers. So we had several coaching processes in the centers for the experts who are working there. And the coaches in this project wrote a descriptive coaching reports from 13 different guidance centers. And these reports, they had information about the goals and methods and objects of the coaching process. So our specific research question was, what kind of intellectual capital elements emerge in the coaching process? So when we are developing this transdisciplinary collaboration and how to do it, what exactly are we developing in terms of intellectual capital? So we analyzed these reports using quantitative content analysis. So it determines the existence and frequency of concepts in these reports, in this text. And this theory-driven analysis involves counting meaning units, and those were words or sentences or even larger parts of the text. So let's go to the results now. The analysis of the data showed that all forms or all types of intellectual capital emerge from the reports. The results are presented here in the table, and it shows the type of the intellectual capital and the frequency and the sample from the data. So the most frequent types of intellectual capital were social capital and structural capital, as you can see. And in social capital, the emphasis was given most to the customer and collaboration relationships and the common standards, and also for the information sharing. So this kind of very communal social topics. And in structural capital, the emphasis was given mainly for operational processes, meaning like how to work, what happens when the client comes to the center, guidance center. And as you can see, the references to psychological and human capital remained much lower, and maybe that tells us something. Let's see the next slide. So it seems that when we are or we were developing transdisciplinary collaboration, we are focusing on communal knowledge and experience, not that much to the individual knowledge and experience. So we are focusing on social capital and structural capital. And in social capital, it seems that the most important things are how to strengthen the client and collaboration relationships, and getting to know each other who are working in the guidance centers, and sharing information and even agreeing in very practical matters. And in structural capital, the most important topic seems to be operating processes, which refers to the organization structures, such as how to operate in these guidance meetings. And so the human capital and psychological capital remained lower in the lower level, but of course they may be intertwined with the social relationships and structures of the work community. So this raises a question when we are developing this transdisciplinary collaboration in guidance centers. Should we focus on the social capital and structural capital topics, and how much should we pay attention to these individual matters as human and psychological capital? And I think this might need some further researching. So finally, some conclusions. It seems that the theories of intellectual capital seem to be reasonably well suited for examining the development of transdisciplinary collaboration, although some factors that emerged in the data are not recognized in the theory of intellectual capital, like common goals and work atmosphere. So this new kind of transdisciplinary capital may challenge the theoretical structure of intellectual capital. And finally, this transdisciplinary guidance in one-stop guidance centers has introduced a new kind of operating culture in the field of guidance in Finland. And also, it has created a new kind of transdisciplinary intellectual capital for the guidance centers and for those people who are working there. Yeah, there are some information about this project. This paper was based on, and I want to thank you for your attention. And if you have any kind of questions or remarks or comments, please feel free. Finally, the references as well. So, on my behalf, thank you so much. I will stop sharing right now to see if there's anything. Thank you. Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was just checking if anyone had a question for Päivi. Okay, all right. Okay, let me start sharing my screen first. All right, well, good afternoon on my behalf as well. I am Jaana Kettunen, and I work at the Finnish Institute for Educational Research at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland. I am truly delighted to be here and to be given this opportunity to share the results of this study that has focused on innovation in career development. As we all know, the world of work has changed over the recent decades due to the many factors, including globalization, digitalization, and automation. More and more people are confronted with a series of transition in and out of employment, periods of under or overemployment, potentially more than one career change, and multiple returns to education. Career development services are perceived to be one way of assisting individuals to plan and make well-informed and realistic decisions about education, training, and occupational choices. Given the increasing speed of changes in today's connected economy, career development must look toward innovation to evolve to meet the challenges of this fast changing labor market and fast changing context where we are living. There is an increasing recognition that innovation is one of the key means by which public services can become more effective, more efficient, or more legitimate. As countries differ widely in the development and delivery of career services, the idea of innovation is necessarily relative, where career development services are scarce or non-existent. For example, almost any initiative can be regarded as innovative. In general, innovation can be defined as the successful introduction of something new and useful, for example, introducing new methods, techniques, or practices, or new or altered products or services. Innovation is about, oh, now I can't see the slide. It's about process, problem solving, and address challenges in life and complex that are society, that are complex, multifaceted, and require creative approaches. The present study explored innovation in career development sector as perceived by international career development experts. The aim was to identify and describe variation of qualitatively different conceptions of the phenomenon. The study was guided by the following research questions. So, what are career development experts' conceptions of innovation in career development? And what are the critical aspects that differentiate the qualitatively varying ways of understanding career development innovation? The ultimate aim of describing the variation in these conceptions is to expand understanding of those critical factors or critical issues that may play an important role in improving innovation in our sector. The participants in this study were designated governmental and non-governmental representatives from 33 different countries who attended the International Symposium on Career Development and Public Policy. National team that answered the online questionnaire consisted on 134 delegates. And as you can see, they represented a number of different countries. They were quite not equal, but share of women and female, and the participants represented the career development community from quite variety of settings. The data was analyzed with a phenomenographic approach, and the analysis of the data revealed four distinct categories of descriptions that reflected the career experts' conceptions of innovation in career development. So the innovation in career development was conceived as initiating services or in developing demographic-based programs or professionalizing the sector, and also as exploiting cross-sectoral synergies. These formed categories were nested in hierarchies, which means that they expanded from the least to the most complex understanding that was presented among of these participants. There is 6 dimensions that arose from the data, and these were the And these dimensions are the ones that differentiate it and makes the differences between the categories, how they differentiate from each other. So the dimensions are innovative initiatives, development emphasis, rationale for developing the use of ICT, continuing professional development, and realization of career education. In phenomenographic methods, these dimensions, they arouse, or we can find them in the data when there is a variation. If there is some theme or topic where there is not a lot of variation, it doesn't come as an important dimension in this analysis method. And when we have a closer look of the results, in first category, we see that in first category, where the innovation was conceived as initiating services, innovative initiatives were seen as desired, and general ambition to innovate was expressed. Focus on development was placed on setting up services that had been lacking as a result of political instability or the short history of career services in that specific country. A key rationale for developing the use of ICT was to promote the value of career development and related services, to providing more information to the public about what professional career support can offer them and what to look for when seeking assistance or access. In this category, country teams indicated that there was an acknowledged need or initial plans for creating continuing training specific to career services. Decisions about how such training would be delivered were not yet planned. Here, countries had started piloting career education curriculum in selected schools or educational institutions. When we move from category 1 to category 2, where innovation was conceived as developing demographic-based career development programs, innovation was mainly initiated now from top down on public organization, based more or less on political decisions. Focus on development was placed on designing career-related programs that meet the specific needs or requirements of a particular group of people. A key rationale for developing the use of ICT was to widen and extend access to career-related information, principally through digital platforms or mobile applications. In this category, continuing professional development training is offered on an ad hoc basis, but remained confined to a limited number of courses and programs which take place in face-to-face settings. Career guidance program and or activities were introduced as a part of the school curriculum, but participation in these programs or activities was voluntary rather than mandatory. In third category, where innovation in career development was conceived as professionalizing the sector, here innovation initiatives were stimulated by top-down demands, empowering bottom-up innovation among key regional actors. Development focuses on career practitioners' professionalism in terms of their training and qualification. Country teams indicated that professional competencies and competency standards were under revision or would be revised. A key rationale for the for developing the use of ICT in this category was to improve the effectiveness of the services provided by extending opportunities to provide distance carrier services using synchronous real-time phone or chat-based communication. So each category, as we move forward, they include the previous models, for example, in relation to technology. So now they extended from information from platforms and mobile to this real-time phone or chat-based communication. Here, continuing professional development and short or refresher courses on new information or new methods were conducted on regular basis. Beyond the traditional face-to-face model, these courses were delivered in blended mode, combining face-to-face learning activities and online learning components. Career development education was now integrated in the curriculum and delivered through series of themes taught across different subjects. In this fourth category, innovation in career development was conceived as exploiting cross-sectoral synergies. Innovative initiatives were now supported to achieve common strategic development goals at country level by enhancing cross-sectoral collaboration and coordination and multi-stakeholder engagement. Development focused on quality issues in career development sector to ensure the delivery of high-quality services. A key rationale for developing ICT use was to improve the quality and efficiency of career development services through more efficient use of resources and data, notably through matching technology, artificial intelligence, and also machine learning. Emphasis was now also placed on finding new and creative ways of improving services by combining human knowledge and experience with machine-generated data and tools. In this category, a sustained program of continued professional development was provided based on identified training needs and national priorities for policy and practice. Unlike in previous categories, training was now offered and can be accessed fully online. Here, career development education is delivered as a standalone and time-able subject within the curriculum, facilitated by teachers, career professionals, teaching support staff, and other external partners that include employers and further and higher education providers. Participants highlight that developing students' career management skills helps them to better understand the job market, relate school-based learning to the workplace, and develop their personal strengths to be successful in development in their careers. As a whole, the results table with the dimensions is put on this one slide once again. But when we look what can we learn and what were the key findings on this study, the findings of this study are much in line what some earlier studies have already said. So the study confirms an increasing emphasis on efficacy, as well as the increasing role of information and communication technology in career services, and differences in systems of continuous professional development, including how that training is delivered. The findings also support earlier dominant position that in public services, innovation is still often top-down processes, which is initiated by political decisions. In the most complex category, there is a discernible shift on emphasis towards a more collective cross-sectoral approach, accelerating collaborative innovation to address the common challenges at the country level. These initiatives seek to ensure high-quality career services with more efficient use of ICT, sustained continuing professional development programs, providing fully online and career education as a timetable subject. Innovations are shaped through exploration of cross-sectoral synergies. In practice, this necessitates new kinds of methods which strengthen horizontal approaches and steering mechanisms that are adaptive to enable to respond to the rapidly changing situations. What can we do with the results of such a study? The matrix that is presented in this study and on the article that has been published may serve as a catalyst for discussion of current and future trends. By increasing the awareness and knowledge of the difference between the categories that the study presents, we can stimulate a dialogue that may play an important role in improving innovation in career development. The matrix can also be used as a tool to look how the innovation is delivered, or what kind of, in which level your country or your own systems are currently, and what has been acknowledged the different phases in different countries. The study that I just presented is published in EIAVG journal, and it's available there as an open access. And if you have any further questions or comments, or would like to just discuss or just communicate more about it, please don't hesitate to be in touch with me. So here are my information. I'll stop the sharing of the slides, and if you have any questions or comments or thoughts or examples that you'd like to share, I invite you to do so. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. And can you hear and see me? All right, excellent. So I start the slideshow from here, just a minute. All right, so I wish you all welcome, and of course, thank you very much for Päivi and Jaana for excellent presentations. And Päivi is here with me today, together in this presentation, the launching of a new hybrid education model in professional guidance counselor program in Finland. We both come from HAMK, University of Applied Sciences, and we both work as a senior lecturers over there and teach in the guidance counselor program. The world has changed a lot, and we had the COVID virus coming up, but we actually introduced this hybrid model prior to that, before even this virus existed in the world. So this is continuation about the development of guidance counselor program what we have done in Hamk University of Applied Sciences. But perhaps Päivi can go through the overview, please.
Yes, thank you. So we will start with an introduction to this topic and see what are the objectives with this. And then we will look at the starting point. It means that where everything started when we started to develop our program further. And then we will look at the actual development of this new hybrid guidance counseling program. And few words about methodology and early experiences from this hybrid model. And some experiences from the praxis. It means like in our point of view as a teachers in this program, and of course some conclusions.
Yeah, my background is actually in business and then in business teaching at university level and University of Applied Sciences. And I changed my career about 14, 15 years back and became a teacher and guidance counselor trainer. But all my working history, I've been always interested in the digitality. And actually, that was the approach that we decided upon on introducing more digitality in the guidance and guidance counseling education, because we think that the digitality itself brings a new view on the different processes in guidance and guidance counseling, and that's why we needed to start discussing about new approach and methods that could be in the future of guidance counseling. Of course, at the same time, when we started this, the trend of using individual study paths in education, and it came around, and there were several different digital solutions that helped that process as well. So in our mind, the need and demand for innovation, creativity, and new thinking in counseling was ever present. And the presentation from Jaana and her previous research has been quoted here. So in this evolving world, career professionals must constantly reevaluate their ability to respond in the changing needs. So we thought that we need to develop new tools, skills, and competence for the future of guidance counselors. And of course, new digital solutions give wide variety of possibility in arranging and building new learning environments. Perhaps Päivi will tell us about the starting point.
Okay, I will. So we have been developing our program for several years. It means like all the time we try to figure out something new, how we could work with it. So it has been a continuing process for us. And the big change took place in 2016 when we developed our program so that it included individual study paths, emphasizing every student's individual learning outcomes, acquired skills, and competence growth. So in this time, we had three different kind of groups. One group was a traditional multi-form study group, which function in Helsinki, our capital region. Another multi-form study group was a functioning in Häme region, where we work. And then we had a third group, which was totally online study group. And when it's totally online, it becomes national. And there were students participating from all over Finland to this study group.
Yes, and of course there has been developed further, and the idea of this new hybrid guidance program is that the students decide themselves when they come to the classroom if they want to come there. It takes place in Hämeenlinna, which is about 70 kilometers north of Helsinki area. They can come there, or they can stay online. And like Päivi described, it's become a national product in a way. I see it as that, and we have the participants all around Finland. But at the same time, we had some participants coming into the classroom, and that always happens in a way that we send them an inquiry whether you are going to attend in the classroom or are you going to be attending online to the program. So the construction of the system actually required, as we further developed the system from the year 2019, it demanded a special mobile system, a mobile camera system, where it was invested quite a lot in money-wise to that system. And of course, at that time, sophisticated online platform, Zoom, we started using as well. And students were able to use social media tools during their studies. And of course, they have to have right attitude and curiosity to learn and discover new. Technical support was very vital. We had, for the first year, we had a technical assistance all the time when we were there. Gradually, we were able to do it on our own, but we didn't want to take the time to worry about that, whether technical things will be working. Management support was immense from the beginning, and of course, acceptance among our colleagues was important as well. So through that combination, I think we created an atmosphere where those who participate in the program wanted to learn more about the digitality and the possibilities of using that both in guidance counselor and in career counseling. How about the methodology and experiences?
Yes. So in this study, we had several interviews which were conducted during this program. And also we had a feedback survey, which was launched at the end of the study process. And the survey was answered by 64% of the attendees. So we analyzed the data with a qualitative content analysis. And according to the results and the analysis, the feedback has been really positive from the students. They have been extremely interested and eager to participate in this new hybrid model. So maybe they are called as early adopters. And they really appreciate the possibility to choose their way of attendance. So it gives them a flexibility in every month when they have these contact days. And many of them have expressed the opinion that the hybrid model is different from the traditional online program, as the whole entity has been built on the principle of equal participation, and the process is conducted by the web host. Could you, Vesa, explain more about this idea?
Yeah. Yeah, the interesting part is that Päivi has been living in Moscow for the last couple of years, and you are the second teacher in the program. And how we have built it is actually you are the host of the whole thing, and we are in the classroom your customers, and then where the students are sitting in different tables in small groups, and we have cameras pointing at each table and ensuring interactivity through that. But the thing is that I've observed, and we've observed traditional or today's versions of hybrid models, and in that the host usually is the classroom itself. But what we have done is that the host is the one who is online, And we've been talking about that together, that whenever, if you come back to Finland, so when we are doing this, so probably we would do it the same way, because that makes the equality of those participating online and those who are in the classroom.
Yes, that's right. So the lectures and all the group tasks and discussions, they are conducted in a manner that activates each participant. So it gives this equal participation and real interaction between them. And the students really like the tight bond between the participants in the classroom and online attendees. So it's been successful. So, and also the participants gave a positive feedback of the possibility that the group tasks during the sessions were conducted with different persons each time. So we have been using this random rotation in the breakout rooms, and that it has been functioning very well. And the student feedback indicated that studying in the new hybrid model was versatile, inspiring, and effective. And they thanked the possibility to participate in these sessions from even outside of the Finnish borders, like I have been doing also.
Yeah, you've been teaching overseas, and our participants sometimes are overseas in the program. So it's really a sort of international aspect to that. However, it's conducted, so far it's been conducted in the Finnish language. So our experiences from the practice, flipped classroom is very handy. Students come prepared to the classroom or to the sessions, and they already know what's the agenda for that. And of course, manuscripts are very important. And of course, we try to do some digital variations throughout the day. And of course, information about the session, the content, what we're going to do, the script we will send in advance to our students, and they are expecting to get that too. In our experience, we need at least 2 teachers required. Currently this year, we are doing this same with 3 teachers, and it seems to be working very, very fine. In case of technical challenges and preparing next steps. So we are at the background, we are always messaging, using messengers during the breakouts. We change ideas. How about this? How about going here? So of course we have these dual manuscripts, but still we are constantly refining during the day. Online guidance must be provided on regular intervals, and giving feedback to your students. You are quite tight with them, and that is highlighted from our experience. And guidance of learning is very vital in the model. Knowledge of your students' individual goals and motivations are central. So we spend a quite long time at the beginning to wonder about what they're doing, what's the use of digitality in their work, and what might be the future prospects for them from after graduating from our program. And we do those individually online. We are very accessible to them, and of course they have to feel that they have been personalized, their studies, and virtual presence is there. The feedback has been really encouraging to us, because when we started off this 2016, there was a lot of talk about that guidance counselor program cannot be done online or digitality or with a digital way or equivalent. And we took the chance, and I think our organization is changing some of the programs to this hybrid model, as it gives more reachability and access to the students. So Päivi, do you take the conclusions?
Okay. Yes. So this new hybrid guidance counselor education program has been very popular among student applicants, and in 2020 we researched most applicants to this vocational guidance counseling program in Finland. So maybe that tells you something. So as a conclusions, the hybrid model requires, besides teachers' pedagogical experience, technical support from online specialists. And also I would like to add that I think it's important that the teachers know each other. So do not conduct this kind of program with a new person, that like me and Vesa, we have known each other for years already. So, conducting the program in practice requires 2 manuscripts, one for people attending online and one for students in the classroom. And these must be combined seamlessly together. So it requires a lot of planning and working hours before the actual contact days. So the cooperation between the teacher is really vital for the success. And well, despite the positive launch of this new hybrid model, it still needs to be investigated and researched further. Of course, we do not know everything about it yet. And this kind of new hybrid way has several possibilities in launching new educational services. For example, we think that continuous education for teachers, or maybe also for guidance practitioners, could made more available via these kind of hybrid solutions.
Yes, and of course the research further is one part of which I've conducted, or I'm conducting currently my PhD research about is there a difference between those who go through this model and their skills, competencies, and so forth. So we are doing this. And of course, now we realize that the world has changed a lot after the coronavirus. And now we are in the situation we'll see that whether people want to go back to the classroom teaching and learning, or do they want to stay online. But this is one solution for combining both of them. The students decide themselves if they want to come to the classroom. So I think that concludes our presentation. If we are open for questions, if you like to ask something. Thank you. Thank you, Greta. It's a very Finnish session. Nobody talks.
Yeah.
All right.
We are used to this.
No, it's absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
too.
Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.